4 cameras to the back, the Snapdragon 712 chip, VOOC 3.0, the Realme 5 Pro seems like a well-rounded powerhouse in its segment. Now that we've spent enough time with it, in today's video let's see if these impressive on-paper specs do in fact translate to actual performance. So welcome to my full review of the Realme 5 Pro. Hey guys, Ash here from C4E Tech, and if you do end up liking what you see here, please do turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon. So let's start off with what sets the Realme 5 Pro apart from the rest of the phones out there in this segment. The cameras, or to be specific, the fact that it has 4 cameras. The primary here, we've seen it in a lot of phones in recent months. It is the same 48 megapixel Sony IMX586 from the Realme X and even the Redmi Note 7 Pro for that matter. Talking about the Note 7 Pro, we have a similar f1.79 lens here too. Under well-lit conditions, the colors are excellent. There's quite a bit of detail. I mean, I'm tired of talking about this sensor. I'm sure you've heard all this before. It does an excellent job overall. The pic here, it was shot with chroma boost, so it increases the saturation levels, makes things a little dramatic if that's what you want. Here's a side-by-side so that you get a better idea. Talking about modes, there is a dedicated low light mode, nightscape. Turning it on makes a huge difference, as the photos do get brighter and the noise levels drop significantly. However, at times we did end up noticing a little bit of a purplish hue. It's not bad enough to be a deal breaker, but it is something worth mentioning. Now, Realme does enable camera to API on most of its phones, so the Realme 5 Pro already has a working Gcam port, and with night sight on it, we get even better low light images, no purplish hue there. Now, circling back to nightscape, just like chroma boost, nightscape also works with a wide angle sensor. Talking about which, that is the next camera. 8 megapixel snapper with a f2.25 wide angle lens that provides a 119 degree field of view. It does well under good lighting conditions. Sometimes with wide angle shooters, the colors seem a little off when compared to primary cameras, especially when your primary is something like Sony's IMX586. But I'm happy to say that is not the case here, not at all. The colors are spot on, the dynamic range is also good, and the detail levels, well, not primary camera good, they are indeed acceptable. Another point worth mentioning is that with wide angle shooters, it's common to see distortion at the edges. Distortion is present here, but it's kept to a minimum. Moving on, the third sensor is a 2 megapixel macro option. It captures some unique shots by letting us get super close to the subject. As I explained in my unboxing video, this isn't the same as cropping into a picture shot with the primary. The macro lens manages to capture more of the background. It offers a unique perspective. Overall, I think super macro is a pretty cool idea. The final camera on the Realme 5 Pro is a 2 megapixel depth sensor. It helps get some good looking portrait shots. The skin tones appear natural and the edge detection is mostly on point. Zooming into the face though, I did notice a bit of smoothing going on. I hope Realme addresses this quick with an update. Moving on to the selfies now, we have the 16 megapixel IMX471 paired with the f2 lens. This is the same setup from the Realme X, the OnePlus 7 Pro, so no complaints about detail here. You can zoom in and even see individual strands of hair. The 471 has always been good. The front camera comes with HDR, but dynamic range is just okay-ish. The background, it's just about there. It's especially noticeable when taking portrait selfies. This is where the background, it really gets blown out. Now, other than this one niggle, the selfie camera gets the job done. The edge detection, the skin tones, all par for the course. Onto the video side of things, we can shoot up to 4K 30 FPS, but as expected, at this resolution, we do not get stabilization, but what we do get is detailed footage. Now, if stability is what we need, then we can switch to 1080p. Even at 1080, the sharpness and colors, they remain excellent, and here the electronic stabilization kicks in, and that makes quite a difference. So my overall verdict on the cameras here, I feel it's arguably one of the best in the under 15K segment. So enough about the cameras now, phones aren't just about taking pictures, right? So how does the rest of the phone, the rest of the Realme 5 Pro fare? How do the internals fare? Well, we have the Snapdragon 712 AIE at the heart of the Realme 5 Pro. Okay, I'm gonna talk about the cameras again, circling back to them. The cameras, they are faster at identifying the scenes. That's due to the 712 AIE. This chip has faster AI functionality. Anyway, coming back, it is a step up from the Snapdragon 710 on the Realme 3 Pro. It is one of the most powerful chips in the under 15K segment. Yes, the Redmi Note 7 Pro with the Snapdragon 675 has a slight edge in terms of single core benchmarks, but in real life, we've seen the Realme 5 Pro outperform the Note 7 Pro, like in our speed test, for example. Now that's because multi-core is almost on par and the 712 has the better GPU. It's not just that, the Realme 5 Pro also utilizes UFS 2.1 storage. The faster read-write speeds mean apps open up fast. From a user experience perspective, this here is ColorOS 6 on top of Android Pie, and it's very smooth. Scrolling through menus, checking a feed, split-screen multitasking, we didn't face any issues in our time with the 5 Pro. All your regular features like gesture navigation, smart sidebar, and privacy features are present and accounted for. The rear-mounted fingerprint scanner is generally very quick, but sometimes when waking the phone up from deep sleep, it took a couple of tries, and once we even had to double press the power button. That said, Face Unlock remains extremely fast. One special software trick the Realme 5 Pro has support for, or is supposed to have support for, is AR Core, but it seems like we are gonna need an update before it can work with AR apps and games. While it doesn't seem like something a lot of people would be interested in, I still felt it's worth a mention. Talking about support, there is support for FM radio, 5 GHz Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.0, and microSD. This is dedicated microSD, so you don't even have to choose between a second SIM and microSD, you can have both. As far as GPU goes, the Adreno 616 handles everything from PUBG to Fortnite. There are no major issues, we didn't face any, and the Realme 5 Pro didn't show any signs of heating up either, even after playing PUBG on it continuously for well over half an hour. Now, talking about playing PUBG continuously, or any game continuously for that matter, long gaming sessions, they do need long battery life. So let me take this as a chance to segue into battery life. The Realme 5 Pro has a 4000 mAh battery. My colleague who did the majority of testing for this device ended most of his days with around 20-25% battery left. His daily usage generally consisted about an hour of phone calls, 2 to 3 hours of YouTube and Twitch streaming as well, and several social media interactions throughout the day. So the Realme 5 Pro does pretty good on the battery front. Most people should be able to get through a day on a single charge even with moderate to intense usage. But even if you do end up running out of juice, you should be able to top up quite quick since Realme's included VOOC 3.0 support here and the charger comes in the box. So this lets you go from 0 to 100 in about an hour and a half. Now because of this battery, the Realme 5 Pro is almost 9mm thick and weighs in at 184 grams. Now that's not too bad, but it is not very sleek either. Personally, I'm glad Realme chose to go with a bigger battery instead of sacrificing a few millimeters of thickness or a few grams of weight. So far, we've covered most major changes from the 3 Pro to the 5 Pro. That said, there are a few more subtle ones still left. For example, with the design, the Realme 5 Pros kind of combine the diamond back pattern of Realme phones past with the popular gradient design. The end result looks quite unique, but as it is with glossy finishes, it's an absolute fingerprint magnet. By the way, Realme is calling this their nanoscale holographic color pattern, and our sparkling blue review unit, it looks really good, doesn't it? You also have another color choice, crystal green, and the finish on that too looks quite stunning, almost glass-like. However, like all Realme phones, this one is also made out of plastic, even the sides, so it can pick up scratches quite easily. Realme also claims this phone is splash resistant, so there is no official IP rating to back that up, so I'm guessing it's got a water resistant coating similar to the Redmi's, so take this one as you will. Moving on to the front of the Redmi 5 Pro, we have a change here as well. The display now, it's a 6.3-inch Full HD Plus IPS panel similar to what we've seen with the 3 Pro, but this time it's got Corning's Gorilla Glass 3 Plus instead of Gorilla Glass 5 for protection. Now we don't really know where this new product from Corning lies in terms of protection, but I guess it should be somewhere between Gorilla Glass 3 and 5 given the nomenclature. So I guess this is kind of a step back. I mean, what I do know is that this is a really good IPS panel. The colors are vibrant, the whites are fine, it's bright, and no complaints about the viewing angles. It's worth noting that the Realme 5 Pro does have Widevine L1 certification, so HD content from Amazon or Netflix shouldn't be an issue. Overall, the media experience is quite good. Oh, almost forgot. Audio. The download's firing single speaker, it gets pretty loud. It's a little mushy at the higher levels, but for the most part, it's pretty usable. The audio via the headphone jack, it's quite clean, no complaints there. We also tried out calls over both wireless headsets and the earpiece. The call quality was excellent. So, where do we stand with the Realme 5 Pro? Personally, I feel the Realme 5 Pro is a whole lot of phone for not a whole lot of money. Starting at $13,999 for the 464 variant, the Realme 5 Pro does offer a set of best-in-class cameras, strong performance and battery life with VOOC 3.0 charging. Now, that's a very difficult combination to beat unless you're looking for something specific like a glass build or a punch hole camera or an Android One offering. So if you're just looking for an overall well-rounded performer, you can't really go wrong with the Realme 5 Pro. But that's just my opinion. Now I want to know what you're thinking. What would be your pick in this price point? What would you choose? Let me know in the comments below. And with that, we get to the end of this review. Do you agree with what I've had to say in this video? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. And also thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about this video. Subscribe, turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon if you haven't yet. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4eTech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye. My colleague who did the majority of testing for this device ended most of his days with around 20-25% battery left. His daily usage generally consisted about an hour of phone calls, 2 to 3 hours of YouTube and Twitch streaming as well, and several social media interactions throughout the day. I mean, I wouldn't call his usage very intense because, hey, he sleeps for around 16 hours a day. Put this into bloopers.
Seriously?
Yeah.